Tuesday morning felt like every other morning. I grabbed my coffee, straightened my blazer, and walked into Cole Marketing Group with a smile still stuck on my face from a good night's sleep. 3 years at this company had taught me one thing. Show up early, work hard, and the results will speak for themselves. Morning, Maya. Sophie from the front desk waved as I passed. Morning, I called back, balancing my laptop bag and coffee cup like a circus act I'd perfected over time. I had no idea my whole world was about to flip upside down. My phone buzzed the moment I sat at my desk. It was an email from Nathan Cole, our CEO. Subject, meeting, 10 a.m. My office, ***. No details, no agenda, just a time and a place. I texted Claire Whitfield, my closest friend at the office and partner on half my projects. Nathan wants to see me at 10. Any idea what's up? 3 dots appeared on my screen, then disappeared, then appeared again. No idea, Claire finally replied. Good luck though. Something about that response felt off, but I brushed it aside. Claire and I had been through everything together. Late nights, failed pitches, celebratory drinks after landing big clients. She wouldn't hide anything from me. At 9:58, I walked to Nathan's office, straightening my blazer one more time. Maya, come in, Nathan said, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. His voice was flat, too flat. Good morning, Nathan, I said, sitting down. Is everything okay? Nathan didn't smile. He folded his hands on the desk like he was bracing for something. Maya, I'll get straight to the point. We're restructuring the marketing department, and unfortunately, your position has been eliminated. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline. I'm sorry, what? Effective today, Nathan continued, avoiding my eyes now. Your employment with Cole Marketing Group has ended. Nathan, I led the Preston campaign. I brought in 3 of our biggest accounts last quarter. What restructuring are you talking about? It's not about performance, Nathan said quickly. It's a business decision. The board wants to cut costs, and your role overlaps with. With what? I cut him off. With who? Nathan hesitated. It's complicated. Try me, I said, my voice shaking now, though I fought to keep it steady. I can't get into details, Maya. HR will handle your exit paperwork. I'm sorry. Sorry. He said sorry like it meant something. 3 years, Nathan, I said, my throat tightening. 3 years of 12-hour days, weekends, missed birthdays, for what? So you can call me in here and use one word, restructuring, to throw it all away? Nathan stood up, signaling the conversation was over. Security will help you collect your things. I truly am sorry it had to be this way. I walked out of his office in a daze. My legs moved, but I didn't feel like I was controlling them. Every eye in the office seemed to land on me as I crossed the floor toward my desk, a security guard trailing a few steps behind like I was some kind of criminal. That's when I saw Claire. She was standing near the break room, coffee cup in hand, and the second our eyes met, she looked away. Not confused, not surprised. She looked away like she already knew. Claire, I said, stopping in front of her. Did you know about this? Know about what? Claire asked, still not meeting my eyes. Don't do that, I said. Don't play dumb with me right now. Maya, I don't know what you're talking about, Claire said, gripping her cup tighter. I just got fired, Claire. Out of nowhere. And you can't even look at me. I'm sorry this happened, Claire said quietly. I have to get back to my desk. She walked away before I could say another word. I packed my desk in silence while co-workers pretended to be busy, stealing glances when they thought I wasn't looking. Photos of Julia, my sister, from our beach trip last summer. A mug David Reyes gave me my first week here. The one that said coffee first, questions later. 3 years of my life fit into a single cardboard box. As the security guard walked me to the elevator, one question kept repeating in my mind, louder than my humiliation, louder than my anger. Why did Claire already know? I sat in my car for 20 minutes before I could even turn the key. The cardboard box sat in my passenger seat like a stranger, holding 3 years of my life in a space smaller than a grocery bag. My phone buzzed. Julia. Hey, I was thinking about you, her text read. How'd the meeting go? I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. I couldn't type it. I called her instead. Maya? Hey, what's? They fired me, I said, my voice cracking before I even finished the sentence. Wait, what? Who fired you? Nathan. This morning. He called it restructuring. 3 years, Julia. 3 years, and all he gave me was one word. Okay, breathe. Julia said, her voice shifting into the calm, steady tone she used whenever I fell apart. Tell me exactly what happened. I told her everything. The vague email, the 10-minute meeting, the security guard walking me out like I'd stolen something. When I got to Claire, my voice changed. She wouldn't even look at me, Julia. I asked her straight up if she knew, and she wouldn't answer. That's strange, Julia said slowly. You two share everything. Why would she suddenly go cold? I don't know, I said, wiping my eyes with the back of my hand. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe she just felt awkward. Or maybe, Julia said, she knows exactly why you got fired, and she doesn't want to tell you. I didn't want to believe it. Claire Whitfield had been my friend since my second week at Cole Marketing Group. She trained me on half the software I used. She was there when I cried after my divorce 2 years ago. She couldn't be part of this. Maya, Julia said, softer now. I know you're hurting, but don't just crawl into bed and cry about this for a week. Dig. Find out what actually happened. You deserve to know the truth. I don't have the energy to dig, Julia. I just want to sleep. You can sleep tonight, Julia said. But tomorrow, you start asking questions. Promise me. I sighed. Fine. I promise. That night, I couldn't sleep anyway. I lay in bed scrolling through old emails on my phone, replaying every conversation with Nathan, every meeting, every project. Something had to explain this. Then I saw it. A company-wide email from that morning, sent at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes before I even walked into the building. The subject line read, "Introducing the new Preston campaign lead." My stomach dropped as I opened it. The email announced Claire Whitfield as the new lead on the Preston account. My account. The campaign I had built from scratch 6 months ago, the one I stayed until midnight 3 nights a week to finish, the one that brought in our biggest client renewal this year. My hands were shaking as I read it again, just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. I didn't wait for morning. I called Claire immediately. Maya, she answered, sounding surprised. It's late. Is everything okay? Why does the company email say you're the new lead on Preston? I asked, skipping any pretense of politeness. Silence on the other end. Claire, answer me. I didn't ask for that. Claire said finally. Nathan assigned it to me this morning. This morning? Before I even got fired. Maya, did you know I was getting fired, Claire? Just tell me the truth. No, Claire said quickly. Too quickly. I found out when everyone else did. Then why were you already assigned my campaign before the meeting even happened? Claire hesitated again, and in that pause, I heard everything I needed to know. Nathan told me last week there might be some changes, Claire finally admitted. He said he wanted me prepared to take over a few accounts, just in case. In case of what, Claire? In case he fired me. He didn't say that exactly. But you knew something was coming. I didn't know it would be you, Claire said, her voice rising defensively. I swear, Maya, I didn't think it would actually happen. But you didn't warn me either, I said. You let me walk into that office this morning with no idea, knowing something was wrong. I didn't know what to say, Claire said. I didn't want to cause panic if it wasn't even true. So instead you just let me get blindsided, I said. And then you took my campaign the same day. That's not fair, Maya. None of this is fair, Claire. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were still shaking, but something else had replaced the shock now. A cold, steady anger settling into my chest. I scrolled back through my old emails, searching for anything I might have missed. That's when I found it, buried 3 months deep in my inbox. An email chain between Nathan and someone named R. Sinclair, a name I didn't recognize from the board. The subject line read, "Restructuring plan, confidential." The email was dated 3 months before today. 3 months. This hadn't been a sudden decision. Someone had been planning this long before I ever walked into that meeting. And Claire Whitfield knew more than she was telling me. David Reyes still lived in the same small house on Maple Street, the one with the wind chimes on the porch that he never took down, even in winter. He'd retired from Cole Marketing Group 2 years ago, but he'd been the VP who hired me straight out of college. If anyone could help me make sense of this, it was him. Maya, David said, opening the door before I even knocked. I heard, "Come in." Word travels fast, I said, stepping inside. Not that fast, David said, leading me to his kitchen table. Claire called me last night. My stomach tightened. Claire called you. She was pretty shaken up, David said, pouring 2 cups of coffee. Said you two had words. We did, I said, sitting down. David, I need you to tell me what's really going on. You still talk to people there. You know how that place works better than anyone." David sat across from me, his expression serious. "Maya, are you sure you want to know?" "I need to know," I said. "I can't just accept restructuring as an answer. Something's wrong here." David sighed, wrapping his hands around his mug. "All right, I'll tell you what I know, but you're not going to like it." "I already don't like it," I said. "Just tell me." "The board's been pressuring Nathan for the last 6 months," David began. "Profits dipped after he pushed through that expansion into the Denver market. It was his call, against a lot of advice, including mine before I left. It didn't pay off the way he promised the board it would." "Okay," I said slowly. "What does that have to do with me?" "Nathan needed someone to blame," David said. "The board wanted answers, and Nathan wasn't about to say the failure was his own decision. So he needed to show them he was fixing the department, cutting costs, making changes. And I was the change," I said, my voice flat. "You were convenient," David said gently. "You had one of the higher salaries in your department. And, Maya, I'm sorry. Claire made sure Nathan saw you as expendable." My chest tightened. "What do you mean?" "She made sure. She's been positioning herself for months," David said. "Taking credit in meetings for things you built. Telling Nathan she could handle bigger accounts without needing 2 people doing one job, as she put it." "She said that? About me?" David nodded slowly. "I heard it secondhand, but from someone I trust. Claire's been building her case to Nathan for a while now. When the board pushed him to cut costs, you were the easiest name for her to suggest." I sat there, staring at my coffee, feeling something cold spread through my chest. 3 years of friendship, gone in an instant, replaced by the realization that Claire had been planning this long before I ever suspected a thing. "She used me," I said quietly. "All this time, she was just waiting for her moment." "I'm sorry, Maya," David said. "I know that's not easy to hear." "No," I said. "It's not." I expected to cry. I expected the same wave of humiliation and heartbreak that hit me the day of the meeting. But instead, something else settled over me, a strange, quiet calm. "David," I said after a long pause, "I'm not going to beg for my job back." David looked up at me, surprised. "I didn't expect you to." "Part of me wants to," I admitted. "Part of me wants to march back in there and demand Nathan explain himself, demand my position back, make him admit what Claire did. But that's not going to fix anything. Even if he gave me my job back tomorrow, I'd be working under people who already showed me exactly who they are." "So what will you do instead?" David asked. "I don't know yet," I said. "But I built that Preston campaign with my own hands. I brought in 3 major accounts on my own reputation. That skill doesn't disappear just because Nathan Cole decided to erase my name from it." David smiled slightly. "That's the Maya I remember. The one who never waited for someone else to hand her an opportunity." "I mean it, David," I said. "I'm done being angry. I'm done trying to make Claire admit what she did, or making Nathan feel guilty. If they want to build their empire on stolen credit and convenient lies, let them. I'm going to build something of my own." "That won't be easy," David said. "Starting over rarely is." "Nothing about the last 3 years was easy either," I said. "At least this time, whatever I build will actually be mine." David reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Then let's figure out where you start." I left David's house that afternoon with no job, no campaign, and no friend in Claire anymore. But for the first time since Tuesday morning, I felt something other than heartbreak. I felt the smallest spark of a plan forming. Starting over sounded a lot more inspiring in my head than it felt in real life. I spent my second week of unemployment registering a business name, Bennett Marketing Solutions, and setting up a website that took me 3 days to build because I kept second-guessing every word on it. I dipped into my savings for a laptop upgrade and a paid ad campaign to get my name in front of potential clients. By the end of the month, I had exactly two clients. I told Julia over the phone, staring at my banking app like it might change if I refreshed it enough times. 2 small clients, and one of them wants me to basically work for free until we see results. "Don't work for free," Julia said immediately. "You're not an intern, Maya. You're a professional with 3 years of proven results. Easy for you to say. You're not the one watching your savings account shrink every week." "I know it's scary," Julia said. "But you didn't leave Cole Marketing Group to build something small and desperate. You left to build something real." "I didn't leave," I reminded her. "I got pushed out." "Fine. You got pushed. But now you're choosing what happens next. There's a difference. I wanted to believe her. Some days I did. Other days, like the Tuesday my second client emailed me to say they were going in a different direction, I didn't believe anything at all. They dropped me. I told Julia that night, sitting on my kitchen floor with a glass of wine I hadn't touched for weeks in, and they dropped me. Why? They said my rates were too high for a freelancer with no proven track record independent of my old company. That's ridiculous. You built half of Cole's biggest accounts. Doesn't matter, I said. Out here, nobody cares what I did under someone else's name. I'm starting from zero. You're not starting from zero, Julia said firmly. You're starting from experience. That's not nothing, Maya. It feels like nothing right now. Then let it feel like nothing for tonight, Julia said. But tomorrow, you get up, and you send out 5 more pitches. That's it. Just 5. Not 50. Just 5. And if those 5 say no too, then you send 5 more the day after that. I laughed despite myself, wiping my eyes. You should charge people for pep talks. I'll add it to my rates, Julia said, right after I convinced my sister to stop doubting herself. The weeks that followed blurred into a rhythm of small failures and smaller wins. I picked up a modest contract with a local bakery chain that needed help with social media, a project that paid barely enough to cover my internet bill, but it was proof I could still do the work without Cole Marketing Group's name attached to mine. Then, one afternoon, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. Is this Maya Bennett? A man's voice asked. Speaking. Maya, my name is Marcus Todd. I run Todd Industries. We've been a client of Cole Marketing Group for the last 2 years. My stomach flipped. Yes, I remember the account. I worked on your last 2 campaigns. That's exactly why I'm calling, Marcus said. Something's changed since you left. Our latest campaign underperformed by almost 30%, and when I asked for an explanation, all I got was vague excuses about market conditions. I'm sorry to hear that, I said carefully, unsure why he was telling me this. I did some digging, Marcus continued. Turns out you were the one leading strategy on our account the whole time, not the person currently claiming credit for it. I didn't say Claire's name. I didn't have to. I'm not in a position to comment on internal matters at my former company, I said. I respect that, Marcus said. But I wanted you to know, I noticed. And I'm not the only client who has. After we hung up, I sat frozen at my kitchen table for a long time, turning the conversation over in my mind. I hadn't reached out to a single old client since I left. I hadn't badmouthed Nathan or Claire to anyone outside my sister and David. And yet, cracks were already showing at Cole Marketing Group without me lifting a finger. I called Julia immediately. You're not going to believe who just called me, I said, and told her everything. See, Julia said, I told you. Karma doesn't need your help, Maya. It just needs time. I'm not celebrating anyone's failure, I said. I built something real there. And now it's falling apart without me, and they don't even understand why. Maybe they will eventually, Julia said. But that's not your job to teach them. Your job right now is building Bennett Marketing Solutions into something even better. I looked around my small apartment, at the laptop covered in sticky notes, the half-finished pitch decks scattered across my table, the framed photo of Julia and me that reminded me why I kept going even on the hardest days. 5 more pitches, I said quietly. Starting tomorrow. That's my sister, Julia said, and for the first time in weeks, I actually believed I might be building something worth keeping. 3 weeks after Marcus Todd's first call, he called again, this time asking if we could meet in person. I'd rather discuss this face-to-face, he said. I think you'll want to hear what I have to say. I met him at a small coffee shop downtown, the kind with mismatched chairs and a chalkboard menu. Marcus was already seated when I arrived, a stack of papers in front of him. Thanks for meeting me, Marcus said, standing to shake my hand. I know this is a little unusual. A little, I admitted, sitting across from him. You said you had something to discuss. I did some more digging since we last talked, Marcus said. Talked to a few other clients at Cole Marketing Group. Turns out I'm not the only one who noticed a drop in quality since you left. I appreciate you telling me, I said carefully. But I'm still not sure why you're telling me this instead of Nathan. Because I'm done being a client of Cole Marketing Group, Marcus said bluntly. And I want you to lead my company's rebrand instead. I blinked, certain I'd misheard him. I'm sorry, what? Todd Industries needs a complete rebrand, Marcus said. New identity, new campaigns, new direction. I've seen your work firsthand. You built the strategy that actually grew our business the last 2 years, not the person currently taking credit for it. Marcus, I run a small consultancy, I said. I have 2 clients, a bakery chain and a local gym. I'm not exactly equipped to handle a full corporate rebrand alone. Then don't do it alone, Marcus said. Partner with me. I'll fund the resources you need, a small team, whatever software or support you require. You lead the creative and strategic direction. We split the partnership fairly, and you keep your independence. My heart pounded so hard I was sure he could hear it. You're offering me a partnership? Just like that. Not just like that, Marcus said, sliding the stack of papers toward me. I've had my lawyer draw up a proposal. Take it home, read through it, ask questions. I'm not trying to rush you into anything. But I meant what I said, Maya. I want to build this with you specifically. I stared down at the papers, my hands trembling slightly as I flipped through the terms. This wasn't just another small contract to keep my lights on. This was the kind of opportunity that could completely change the trajectory of everything I'd been struggling to build. Can I take a few days? I asked. Take a week, Marcus said. This is a big decision. I want you to feel confident, not pressured. I left that coffee shop in a daze, clutching the folder like it might disappear if I loosened my grip. That night, I called Julia before I even took my coat off. He offered me a partnership, I said, still breathless. An actual partnership, Julia. Not a contract. Not freelance work. A real position building his company's entire rebrand. Maya, that's incredible, Julia said. What did you say? I told him I needed time to think, I said. But Julia, I don't know if I can actually do this. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready for something this big? You built the Preston campaign from nothing, Julia said firmly. You handled Marcus Todd's account for 2 years before anyone even knew your name outside that building. You're more than ready. I wanted to believe her. I think, somewhere deep down, I already did. Meanwhile, word started drifting back to me through old coworkers I still kept in touch with, quiet messages, careful phone calls, people who still trusted me enough to talk honestly. Things are falling apart here. One former colleague told me over coffee. The board found out Claire's been taking credit for work she didn't actually do. Someone finally said something after the Todd account tanked. What happened? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. Nathan tried to defend her at first, my old coworker said. But then 2 other team members came forward. Said Claire had been claiming ownership of projects she barely touched for months. It wasn't just your work, Maya. She'd done it before. I sat with that information for a long moment. And Nathan? The board's furious, she said. Not just about Claire. About the Denver expansion too. They're saying he covered up how bad the numbers really were for months before he finally admitted it. There's talk they might force him out. I didn't celebrate. I didn't feel the satisfaction I expected to feel, watching the walls close in around the people who'd blindsided me. Instead, I just felt strangely still, like watching a storm from a safe distance. Are you okay? My former coworker asked, studying my face. I don't know what I feel, I admitted honestly. Relieved maybe, vindicated, but also just tired. Like I don't need any of this to feel okay anymore. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table with Marcus's proposal spread out in front of me, reading through every line for the 3rd time. My phone buzzed with a text from David. Heard the news about Cole Marketing Group, his message read. Feels like karma's catching up faster than anyone expected. I typed back, it is. But I'm not thinking about them anymore. I'm thinking about what comes next for me. That's exactly the right way to think about it, David replied. I picked up my pen and signed my name across the bottom of Marcus Todd's proposal before I could talk myself out of it. Bennett Marketing Solutions was about to become something much bigger than I ever imagined it could be, built entirely on my own name, my own work, my own choices. And somewhere across town, everything Nathan Cole and Claire Whitfield had built on my stolen credit was finally starting to crumble, brick by brick, without me lifting a single finger to push it down. 3 days after I signed the partnership deal with Marcus Todd, my apartment buzzer rang at 7 in the evening. I have a delivery for you, Sophie Chen called out from my living room, where she'd been helping me organize the new Todd Industries files. Sophie had joined me just 2 days earlier as my assistant, fresh out of college and eager to prove herself. Exactly the kind of person I needed as Bennett Marketing Solutions grew into something bigger than I ever imagined. I'm not expecting anything, I said, walking to the door. I opened it, and my whole body went still. Nathan Cole stood in my hallway, looking nothing like the confident CEO who'd fired me 5 weeks ago. His tie was loose, his eyes were tired, and he was holding a folder against his chest like it was the only thing keeping him upright. "Maya," Nathan said, "can we talk?" "Nathan," I said, genuinely surprised. "What are you doing here?" "Please," he said. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I glanced back at Sophie, who raised her eyebrows but said nothing. 5 minutes, I said, stepping aside to let him in, though I didn't offer him a seat. "Maya, I know I have no right to show up like this," Nathan started, his voice cracking slightly. "But things have gotten out of control at the company." "I heard," I said simply. "Claire quit yesterday," Nathan continued, after 2 more employees came forward about her taking credit for their work. "The board discovered she'd been doing it long before you, Maya. Your case just happened to be the one that finally broke things open. That must have been difficult for you," I said, my voice calm and even. "The board is furious," Nathan said. "They're talking about replacing me entirely. The Denver expansion numbers, the client complaints, losing Todd Industries, it's all coming out at once. I've lost 3 major accounts this month alone." "I'm sorry to hear the company is struggling," I said, and I meant it, in the strange, distant way you feel sorry for a storm you can see coming but can't stop. "Maya, that's actually why I'm here," Nathan said, stepping closer. "I want you to come back." I raised an eyebrow. "Come back?" "Not to your old position," Nathan said quickly. "I want to offer you Claire's role. Senior Director of Marketing Strategy. Full authority over the department, direct reporting to me, a significant raise from what you were making before." I stood there for a moment, letting his offer settle in the space between us. "You fired me 5 weeks ago," I said slowly, with one word. "Restructuring. You let me walk out of that building in front of everyone I worked with, humiliated, without a single real explanation. Maya, I know, and I regret how that was handled." "You regret it now," I said, cutting him off gently but firmly, "because it's costing you clients and your position on the board, not because it was wrong." Nathan opened his mouth, then closed it again. "I built the Preston campaign," I continued. "I built half the relationships that kept this company profitable the last 3 years. And when the board needed someone to blame for your Denver mistake, you let Claire hand me over without a second thought." "I made a mistake," Nathan said quietly. "A serious one. I'm asking you to let me fix it." I looked at him for a long moment, feeling something I hadn't expected to feel standing in this conversation. Not rage, not the urge to make him suffer the way I had suffered. Just clarity. "Nathan," I said, 3 days ago, I signed a full partnership with Marcus Todd. I'm leading Todd Industries' entire rebrand, starting next month. I have my own company now, my own team, my own name on the work I do." Nathan's face fell. "Todd Industries. That's, Maya, that's one of the accounts I just lost." "I'm aware," I said, not unkindly. "I can offer you more," Nathan said, a note of desperation creeping into his voice. "More equity, a seat on the leadership team, whatever it takes." "Nathan," I said gently, "I don't need what you're offering anymore. I spent 3 years believing my worth depended on being valued by this company. It took losing everything to realize my worth was never something you or Claire could give me or take away." Nathan stood in silence, the folder still pressed against his chest like an offering I had no intention of accepting. "I hope you figure things out," I said, and I meant that too. "But I'm not coming back." I opened the door behind him, the gesture clear enough without needing more words. Nathan nodded slowly, defeated in a way that had nothing to do with me anymore. "For what it's worth, Maya, I really am sorry." "I believe you," I said. "Just 5 weeks too late." He walked out without another word, and I closed the door softly behind him. Sophie appeared in the kitchen doorway. She'd clearly heard everything. "That was Nathan Cole? The one who fired you?" "That was him," I said, exhaling for what felt like the first time in months. "Are you okay?" Sophie asked. I smiled, and for the first time since that Tuesday morning that ended everything, I meant it completely. "I'm better than okay," I said. "I finally know exactly what I'm worth. And it's more than anything he could have ever offered me."